Hello everyone and welcome to this Gumroad tutorial. Thank you very much for buying this tutorial. I really hope that helps you developing your skills when approaching this kind of tasks. My name is Nacho Yahweh. You can see that there my website nachoyahweh.net, and I'm a concept artist working in the video game industry. What we are going to do today is just a simple photo study. I really love to do this kind of photo studies. I think that they help me a lot training my eyes. So when I have a little bit of free time at work, I spend 1 or 2 hours getting a photo that has interesting light and trying to copy without using color picker. What I'm doing right now is just showing you guys my way of thinking when approaching this kind of images. Basically, I tend to focus on three things. First is the shape, the general silhouette of the image. Second is finding the darkest values, and also the third thing is finding the lighter values as well. As you can see here in green, I'm just pointing out which are the areas that have the lighter values. And then with another color I will do the same for the darkest ones. Again, I really encourage you to analyze, to spend a little bit of time analyzing the picture, the image, and see and detect where are the darkest values and where are the lighter ones. Basically because I think it doesn't matter how well drawn the image is. I don't used to do a lot of line work with this stuff. It's just like pure painting. So if you really understand the relationship between values and color, everything is done. I'm tweaking a little bit the brightness and contrast just to detect a little bit easier where are the darkest values. And then I'm doing the same. Now I'm selecting the dark areas, and I'm going to fill it with another color. Now we have established the three values, the neutral one, light and dark one. And as you can see, the eye do the rest. Your brain is going to start reading an image there. So as long as you control very well the relationship between all these three tones, the three values, you have a lot of work done. Now that I understand the relationship between the shape and the dark and light areas is when I can move forward to the real painting. Normally I work with two screens, so this is the first time that I'm painting with the image beside. And I have to say that it really helped me a lot because it's way easier to detect the right color and also to correct any possible mistakes in the anatomy or the structure. I'm not looking for a resemblance here if I get it perfect, but it's not my main objective, basically because I don't want to focus on that, and I just want to focus all my attention in getting a really good understanding of color and values on light. I think I spent around 2 hours more or less for the final picture. You can find also the raw video in the package, but I think just I wanted to share you this speeded up version. It's more interesting, and I can just like focus on the parts that are more interesting because there's a lot of boring stuff of polishing. Anyway, if you want, the other video is there, so if you want to check it out, feel free. As you can see here, first I painted the background. It's important to have a background already, so you will get all the tones easier. I try to be as accurate as possible, and as I told you before, having the image right beside helped a lot. Right after the background, I draw a basic silhouette. It's not accurate 100%, but it's something that I will change later. And doing a little bit of line work here. Having the image right beside helped a lot more than I thought. So that way I could cast some parallel lines, as you can see there. So they helped me a lot to find the exact position of some key parts of the body. I don't rely too much on the line work because this layer will be deleted later. Now I'm just drawing a little bit just to have some reference, but yeah, once I add all the tones and the colors, this layer will be deleted. I didn't spend so much time on this part as you can see because this is something that is just for early reference. If you see her face, I mean they don't even look alike, but I will fix that later. Now I'm adding the different key colors in different layers. One for skin, one for the hair, and another one for that scarf. I'm using always the selection tool, as you can see. I basically what I do is I use some tools. That is selection tool, liquify to correct some mistakes in the anatomy, and 2 or 3 brushes. One soft one is the one that I'm using now, a soft brush, another brush with texture, or a couple of brushes with texture, and a dry brush, mainly basically for the hair and some little details. Now with a soft brush it's way easier for me to add flavor and add the tones that I really want to. How to find the right color is kind of tricky. I think it's something that you learn when you are practicing enough. What I do is finding the darkest and the brightest areas, and from them I can move finding the rest of the tones. I'm not drawing, I'm just like with the selecting tool, I'm just selecting the areas I want to fill with color. I find very interesting once the image is finished to find the right balance between sharp edges and more diffuse ones. The areas with high contrast where the dark values and the light values collide are usually the most interesting areas for me when the brain leads the eye, and usually I keep very sharp edges there. On the other side, in the areas where the values are more diffuse is when I try to use like a smudge tool to make the edges less visible. I find very boring when everything in an image is treated in the same way. So that's why I always like to play with different brushes, like having a soft brush and then some texture one, and the same happens with the edges. Breaking them makes everything look more painterly, and I don't know, it's something that I really like to do. This is probably one of the hardest parts in the painting, is when you have to try to find the real tone of the real colors of the image. Uh, there's no trick on this. It's mostly trial and error. Is Usually what I do is finding the darkest tone and the brightest one, and from then finding the other one, the neutral tones. When it's about setting the tone, the overall tone, I mostly use a big soft brush, and from time to time I add a little bit of texture. But yeah, mostly now on this stage it's like I prefer just to get simple and to blend the colors with this soft brush. I will include the brushes in the package. They are not mine. I think mostly are all of them downloaded from internet. Um, the same. Sometimes I switch between brushes because I just want to try new ones, but I don't get crazy with those. I think keeping simple with four, five, and maybe an extra two for little details, I think is enough. You don't need to get crazy with brushes. What I'm doing here is like adding the colors with a soft brush, and from time to time I'm blending them with the smudge tool. It's hard to see how the image is shaping now. It's an early stage, so it's normal sometimes to get nervous thinking that you are not gonna achieve what do you want. But if you spend the right amount of time, you will see how the image comes along, and you will see the results. Very important for me, I never draw anything. Even the eye is just like a little brush stroke. I try to just focus on painting, not drawing. Sorry for not showing the layers here. I think I have them in, in the other screen, but eventually I will show it back. But well, don't worry about it because I keep very simple when with this kind of works. I just have like the background layer, the other one from the painting, the line work layer that I will delete later, and maybe another one from other details. I did this image in 2 days, mostly because sometimes, if I have time, and this time I had the time, I like to rest a little bit and come back and check again the image. So it's when I can see these little mistakes that maybe I did, and I see possible corrections that I could do. So yeah, if you have time, enough time, give yourself some times. Go out a little bit and come back after 1 hour, and you will see the image with brand new eyes, and you will detect more mistakes. As you can see here, I know that she doesn't look like her, but again, I didn't care too much about it. I just wanted to get right with color, with tones, and do something that has flavor and looks nice. Later, with liquify and redrawing and repainting, I saw that she was looking like her a little bit more, but that wasn't my main purpose. I don't use to zoom in that much. usually just for little details like the eye or lips to focus on the face. But I try to keep simple and not to zooming in more than 50%. That way you focus on the overall image and you don't lose time and effort detailing any single hair because it's unnecessary. Also, I really like to keep my brush strokes fresh and not over polished anything. I think everything has more flavor. You don't need to show every single hair or pore in skin, and the brain do the rest if the values are correct. What I'm using here is Liquify. It's located on Filter Liquify, I think. This is a tool that I use a lot. It helps me to correct any little anatomical mistakes. Here I just cropped the reference image and put it a little bit closer because I really wanted to focus a little bit of attention and detail in the nose and lips, and it was hard for me to check it from the other reference. I thought that this area was a little bit rough and needed a little bit more of work and polish. Again, this is very important. Don't color pick. Try to find the right color just for yourself. I think that sometimes, maybe by mistake, without realizing, maybe I color picked a couple of times from the original image. But well, anyway, this is something that you don't have to do. If you want to learn and you want to improve your skills and train your eyes, the only way is just to try to figure out what's the color. Don't get stressed if you don't get the right color. As long as it's something similar and the values are nice and everything works well in your image, that's enough. That's okay. Actually, I think at the end of the image I switch it. I change a little bit the tone of the overall tone of the image. The process I'm following here is the same. I'm just do some selection with the lasso tool, then I paint, and in some areas I smudge a little bit with the smudge tool. There's some kind of visual language in all these images. Usually I tend to first paint with big brushes and very soft brushes, then adding some texture, and for the areas that I want to the eye to focus, in this case it's mostly the face, is when I use tinier brushes and I pay more attention to detail. But of course every time trying to avoid to do any drawing, it's just pure painting. For example, in the hair and maybe the bottom part of her body, I will keep a little bit more loose. Not all the image, as I said before, has to have the same treatment. It's nice to find some areas that are more polished and other ones that are way more painterly and more organic. Again, I'm tweaking a little bit the chin with Liquify. It works very well for these little tweaks. Here I'm setting the position of the earring. I don't want to pay so much attention. I just like to add a little bit of highlight there, and I think it's more than enough. Adding some highlights to the hair, adding more structure. It's pretty loose right now. Hair is very fun to paint. It's something very organic and simple, and I like to do very quick brush strokes. And I don't know, I really always have fun doing that part. I'm correcting now the arm and the back a little bit. It was very off. So yeah, meanwhile from time to time I'm using Liquify to correct all these little things that I want to. Now it starts looking a little bit better. It needs more work for sure, but it's getting there. I'm mostly using dry brushes for the hair. It's faster and it looks better for... I like to treat different materials differently, of course. I don't use the same texture brushes for the fabric or for hair. This is also the fun part, using different techniques and brush strokes for different materials. Skin will be more smooth than hair or fabric, for example, and will have a different texture. So this is what I try to achieve with the different brushes. Mostly, if you see there a little bit of grainy texture in the skin brushes to kind of emulate how the pores of the skin, how the skin works. Again, I think it's very nice when you have hard edges, when the dark tones and very bright tones collide together, it makes everything pop out. This is what I'm trying to do here. Mostly all the attention goes to the face, as you can see. Probably 70% of the hard work it's just for the face. Now it's much easier to find the correct tones for the skin in the arm area because I already work a lot in the face, so I'm just like picking on the colors from the face. See how I'm alternating between different brushes? It's just to add more texture. As you can see regarding layers, I keep very things very simple. I just have 3 layers. Pay attention to the shadow that is not completely black or brown. It's getting the red of the fabric. It's always very nice to do these kind of studies because you learn a lot about how light affects different materials. As you can see, the colors are not perfect. The hair has all other tones, but I also like to change some colors and add my own signature. Also, if you see in the nose, it has way more pink and red than in the original image. But as long as it's looking good, I don't care. I want to add a little bit more of detail in the eye, but without losing this painterly effect. Sometimes when I need to do a more complex selection, I use the pen tool. I think it's called pen tool. It's very useful for this kind of like curvy selections. Freehand always is harder. Now it's time to define the lower part a little bit more. It was very loose. It won't be as defined as the face for sure, but yeah, it needs a little bit more work. But yeah, as I said before, this part is more boring. There's nothing but polishing here and there. As you see, all the area, that highlight in the shoulder is pretty important in the composition, and I keep it very sharp. All the edges are sharp. So again, no drawing, no lines. Everything is like selection with the lasso tool, and then soft brush, and then a little bit of texture brush. All over again, I'm repeating the same process. More selection with the pen tool. It took me time to learn how to use it, but yeah, it's very easy. Just practice a little bit with it. There's a lot of YouTube tutorials that tells you how to use it. Just drawing some more lines just to see that everything more or less is in the same position. See how red I'm painting the shadows right now. Probably in the original picture are not that red, but I like to reinforce that color. I'm working a little bit on the scarf. I don't want to pay so much attention on that one. I just want to add a little bit of those folds, and that's all. Here I'm smudging a little bit in some areas. I use one of the textures, one of the brushes with texture that I have. I use them also for smudging. You will find them in my brush pack. What I'm using here is the loaded brush. If you press the in the toolbar the brush button and you keep pressed, you will have other options. It's the last one, and basically what it does is like it works as a wet brush. Just simply go to the toolbar and press in the brush button and keep pressed till that option appears. Well, now I want to correct a little bit the overall color. What I'm doing here is like going to image, adjustment, match color, and I got this image that you can see here. And basically what I do with this tool is like getting the color information from another picture and try to blend with yours. So yeah, I go to image, adjustment, match color, and then where it says source, you can pick whatever image you want to try. And then it's like playing a little bit with the adjustment bar and see if you find something that you feel comfortable with. In this case, I really liked how the colors are looking now. I think everything is popping out a little bit more. So yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes I don't get the results that I like. But usually I do this step when the image is almost done. Again, go to image, adjustment, match color, and then you in source you can load the image that you want, and yeah, try to play with a bar. I also used to adjust colors with image auto color. Sometimes it comes with a little bit of tone that it's more interesting. Maybe I can add here a layer in luminosity to add a little bit of light, but at the end I think I didn't even use it. What I'm doing here is very important, and I like to do it at the end. It's like adding a little bit of color noise. So I pick whatever image that I have that has a lot of different colors. I set that layer in saturation mode, I think. Yeah. And then I put a mask on that layer and reveal a little bit of that layer. What I do with this is just adding a little bit of color aberration. So just little brush strokes all over the painting. It's very subtle, but it gets a little bit of different color flavors that helps to integrate the image a little bit more. I'm going to add one more image because I didn't like too much the other one that I have. Usually, as you see, I get images with very rich in colors. And the same, I set the image in saturation mode, add a mask to the layer, and with another brush, reveal a little bit. As you see, I'm getting different nice tones of green and very bright orange in the skin. And it's mostly done. See the difference between the old one and the new one with color corrections. I also always check the image in black and white to see that the values are working well and everything is readable. And yeah, I spend a little bit of time just like doing these color corrections with autocolor and checking different color options. So everything is almost done. I'm just resizing the image a little bit, and then doing filter sharpen, smart sharpen. It's just to make the brushstrokes pop out a little bit more. So yeah, the piece is finished. Thank you all for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed and learned something. Uh, Ask me any questions if you have any questions about this tutorial. I will try to reply and respond you. And please, if you liked it, check my other tutorials in gumroad.com /Yahweh, and share with your friends or whoever you think will be interested in this tutorial. Thanks again for watching, and thank you very much, and I really hope to see you soon. Bye.